The morning everything changed started like any other on Meadowbrook Farm. But Sarah Henderson would later tell anyone who'd listen. My grandson hadn't spoken a word in 2 years. Then he met that little calf. And the first thing he said broke my heart and fixed it all at once. Jacob Michael Henderson was 5 years old. He had sandy brown hair that stuck up in the back. His grandmother called him her little shadow. He followed her everywhere around the Wisconsin dairy farm. But Jacob never made a sound. 2 years ago, something happened. Something that made words disappear from Jacob's world. His parents brought him to doctors. They tried everything. Speech therapy, play therapy, gentle coaxing. Nothing worked. Jacob's voice had simply vanished. That Tuesday morning in early May, Jacob sat on the porch steps. He wore his favorite red flannel shirt, the one Grandma Sarah had sewn for him. His small hands held a piece of toast. But he wasn't eating. His eyes watched the barn. Something was different today. Farmer Bill's truck was already there at sunrise. Usually, Bill came after breakfast. Jacob's head tilted like a curious puppy. Grandma Sarah stepped outside. Her boots made soft thuds on the wooden porch. "Morning, sunshine," she said gently. Jacob looked up at her. His big green eyes asked the question he couldn't speak. "There's a new baby in the barn," Sarah explained. "Born just before dawn. A little heifer calf." She paused. "Would you like to see her?" Jacob's eyes grew wide. He loved the barn animals. The gentle cows always made him smile. Even without words, his face showed everything. He jumped up immediately. They walked across the dewy grass together. Grandma Sarah's weathered hand rested on Jacob's shoulder. The Wisconsin morning air was crisp and clean. It carried the sweet smell of hay and fresh earth. Farmer Bill met them at the barn door. His face looked worried. "Morning, Sarah." "Morning, Jacob." He nodded to the boy. Bill always included Jacob, even knowing he wouldn't answer. "How's our new arrival?" Sarah asked. Bill's expression grew more serious. "She's healthy. Strong. But," he gestured toward the far stall, "she won't let anyone near her. Been hiding in the corner all morning. Won't eat. Won't drink. Just shakes when we approach." Jacob peered around the adults. His small frame could see between them. In the corner of the stall stood the tiniest calf he'd ever seen. She was pure black with white markings on her face, like someone had painted a star there. But the calf was pressed against the wall. Her whole body trembled. Her dark eyes darted everywhere, looking for escape, looking for danger. She was terrified of everything. "Poor little thing," Grandma Sarah whispered. "What do you think spooked her so badly?" Bill shrugged. "Sometimes they're just born that way. Afraid of the world. We've tried everything. She needs to eat soon or—" He didn't finish the sentence. Jacob stepped closer to the stall. His sneakers made no sound on the hay-covered floor. The calf's frightened eyes locked onto his. For a moment neither moved. Something passed between them. A recognition. A understanding that only they could feel. The calf stopped shaking. Jacob's breathing slowed. They stared at each other across the wooden rails. Two scared creatures. Two hearts that had forgotten how to trust. Grandma Sarah watched in amazement. Even Farmer Bill stopped talking. The barn became perfectly quiet. Only the soft sounds of other animals in their stalls. Jacob reached his small hand toward the rail. Not to touch. Just to show he was there. The calf took a tiny step forward. Then another. Her star-marked face came closer to the fence. "Well, I'll be," Bill whispered. The calf's pink nose stretched toward Jacob's fingers. Still separated by the wooden rail, but close enough to feel each other's warmth. Jacob's eyes filled with tears. Happy tears. Understanding tears. For the first time in 2 years, Jacob's lips moved. Not to speak. Not yet. But his mouth formed silent words. Words only the calf could understand. Grandma Sarah's hand flew to her heart. "Jacob, honey," she breathed. "I think she likes you." Jacob nodded. The smallest nod in the world. But it was communication. It was a yes. It was the beginning of something beautiful. The calf moved even closer. Her breath fogged the air between them. Jacob's other hand joined the first on the rail. He leaned forward slightly. The calf did the same. "What should we call her?" Farmer Bill asked softly. Jacob looked up at him. Then at Grandma Sarah. His eyes were bright with something that hadn't been there in months. Hope. Joy. Purpose. He looked back at the calf. At her star-shaped marking. At her frightened but trusting eyes. His lips moved again. This time, a whisper came out. So quiet only the calf could hear. "Star," he breathed. His first word in 730 days. The calf stepped forward again. As if she approved of her new name. As if she understood that Jacob had given her something precious. His voice. His trust. His first step back to the world. Grandma Sarah wiped tears from her cheeks. Farmer Bill cleared his throat roughly. Neither wanted to break the magic happening before them. Jacob pressed his forehead against the rail. Star moved until her soft nose almost touched his face. Two scared souls. Finding each other. Finding hope. The morning sun streamed through the barn windows. Dust motes danced in the golden light. Outside, the farm was waking up. Cows mooing softly. Chickens clucking. Life continuing its gentle rhythm. But inside that stall, time had stopped. A 5-year-old boy and a newborn calf were having their first conversation. Without words. With hearts. Jacob stayed there for an hour. Star stayed too. Neither wanted to leave. Neither wanted to break the spell. When Grandma Sarah finally said it was time for lunch, Jacob looked back 3 times. Star watched him go. Her dark eyes following his red flannel shirt until it disappeared. Something had begun. Something that would change everything. A friendship that would heal 2 broken hearts. A bond that would bring a little boy's voice back to the world. And a love that would teach everyone around them what real courage looked like. As they walked back to the house, Jacob tugged on his grandmother's sleeve. She looked down at him. His green eyes were bright with questions. "Can I?" he whispered, the words barely audible. "Can I come back?" Sarah's heart nearly burst with joy. "Of course, sweetheart. Of course you can." Jacob smiled. His first real smile in 2 years. Star was waiting for him. And tomorrow, he would have more words to share with her. The boy who had stopped speaking was finally ready to start again. The next morning, Jacob was awake before sunrise. He sat by his bedroom window, watching the barn. Waiting for the first light. His pajamas had dinosaurs on them. But his mind was only on Star. Grandma Sarah found him there when she brought his breakfast. "You're up early, sunshine," she said gently. She set down a plate of scrambled eggs and toast. Jacob pointed toward the barn. "Star," he whispered. His second word in 2 years. Sarah's eyes filled with happy tears. "Yes, sweetheart. Star is waiting for you." She paused. "But first eat something. Growing boys need breakfast." Jacob ate faster than usual. Every bite was a step closer to the barn. To Star. To the friend who understood his silence. Farmer Bill was already feeding the other cows when they arrived. He smiled at Jacob. "Morning, young man. Ready to check on our special girl?" Jacob nodded eagerly. His sneakers practically danced on the barn floor. As they approached Star's stall, he slowed down. Being gentle. Being careful. Star was in the same corner. Still pressed against the wall. But when she saw Jacob, something changed. Her ears perked up. Her dark eyes focused on his face. She remembered him. "Hello, Star," Jacob whispered. His voice was soft like falling snow. The calf took a small step forward. Then another. Yesterday, this had taken an hour. Today, she trusted him a little more. Jacob reached through the rails again. This time, Star came all the way to the fence. Her wet nose touched his fingers. Warm. Soft. Real. "She knows you," Grandma Sarah said in amazement. But Farmer Bill looked worried. "She still won't eat much. Barely touched her bottle this morning." He shook his head. "Calves her age need to drink regularly. She's getting weaker." Jacob's eyes grew wide with concern. He looked at Star. Really looked. She was thinner than yesterday. Her legs seemed shakier. Her breathing was quick and shallow. "Is she sick?" Jacob asked. 3 words together. His longest sentence in 730 days. "Not sick," Bill explained patiently. "But scared animals sometimes stop eating. Stop drinking. They can make themselves very ill." Jacob's heart hurt. His new friend was in trouble. And he didn't know how to help. His small hands gripped the fence rails tighter. "Can I go inside?" he asked quietly. "With Star?" Bill and Sarah exchanged glances. Calves could be unpredictable. Even young ones. Even scared ones. But looking at Jacob's hopeful face, they couldn't say no. "Very carefully," Bill said. "And I'll be right here." Jacob slipped through the stall gate. Star backed up immediately. Her whole body began trembling again. Jacob froze. He didn't want to frighten her more. "It's okay," he whispered. "I'm scared too sometimes." Star's ears twitched. She tilted her head, as if she understood his words. Jacob sat down cross-legged in the straw, making himself smaller, less threatening. "I used to be afraid of everything," Jacob continued. His voice was getting stronger. "After the accident. After Mommy got hurt." Grandma Sarah gasped softly. Jacob had never talked about that day. The car accident that changed everything. The day his mother spent weeks in the hospital. The day his words disappeared. Star took a tiny step toward Jacob. Then another. Her curiosity was stronger than her fear. "But you know what?" Jacob said to the calf. "Being afraid is okay. My therapist told me that. Before I stopped talking to her." Star was only 3 feet away now. Close enough for Jacob to see the long eyelashes around her dark eyes. Close enough to hear her breathing. "I think you're beautiful," Jacob whispered. "Even when you're scared." Something magical happened then. Star lowered her head. She stretched her neck toward Jacob. Not quite touching, but close. So close he could feel the warmth from her breath. Jacob stayed perfectly still. Patient. Letting Star make the choice. Letting her decide if she trusted him. Minutes passed. The barn was quiet except for the soft sounds of other animals. The morning sun painted golden stripes across the straw-covered floor. Finally, Star took the last step. Her soft muzzle touched Jacob's outstretched hand. Gentle as a whisper. Warm as hope. "Good girl," Jacob breathed. "Good, brave girl." Star didn't pull away. She leaned into his touch. Her whole body relaxed for the first time since being born. The trembling stopped. Jacob began talking then. Really talking. Words poured out like water from a broken dam. He told Star about his favorite books. About his toy trucks. About missing his mommy when she was in the hospital. "I thought it was my fault," he said softly. "The accident. I was crying in the car. Mommy turned around to look at me. That's when the other car hit us." Star listened to every word. Her big eyes never left Jacob's face. as if she understood his pain, his guilt, his fear. But Grandma says it wasn't my fault. Sometimes bad things just happen, and we have to be brave, even when we're scared. Star made a soft sound. Not quite a moo, more like a sigh. A sound of understanding. Jacob smiled. His biggest smile in 2 years. You understand, don't you? We can be brave together. They sat together for another hour. Jacob talking. Star listening. 2 wounded hearts beginning to heal. But when Farmer Bill brought Star's bottle for the 3rd time that day, she still wouldn't drink. She looked at it, sniffed it, but turned away. This isn't good, Bill said quietly to Sarah. She needs nutrition. Soon. Jacob heard the worry in his voice. What happens if she doesn't eat? Bill hesitated. He didn't want to frighten the boy. But honesty was important. She could get very sick. Maybe go to sleep forever. Jacob's eyes filled with tears. No, he said firmly. That can't happen. I just found her. He looked at Star. At her beautiful dark eyes. At the white star on her forehead. An idea began forming in his mind. What if? Jacob said slowly. What if she's not just scared of people? What if she's scared of being alone? He stood up carefully. Star watched him but didn't back away. Their trust was growing. I'll stay with her, Jacob announced. Tonight. So she's not alone. Oh, honey, Grandma Sarah said gently. That's very sweet. But you can't sleep in the barn. Why not? Jacob asked. His voice was getting stronger with each word. Star needs me. And I need her. He looked at the adults with determination. Please. Just tonight. I promise I'll be good. Farmer Bill scratched his chin thoughtfully. Well, he said slowly, I suppose we could set up a cot. Just for one night. To see if it helps. Jacob's face lit up like Christmas morning. Really? You mean it? Really? Bill smiled. But your grandmother has to agree. All eyes turned to Sarah. She looked at her grandson. At the hope in his eyes. At the words flowing from his lips for the first time in 2 years. One night, she said finally. But I'm staying too. Jacob hugged her tight. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you so much. As the day progressed, Star began following Jacob around her stall. When he moved to the left, she moved left. When he sat down, she lay down nearby. Never quite touching, but always close. And slowly, word by word, Jacob found his voice again. All because of a scared little calf who needed a friend. And a brave little boy who was ready to be that friend. That evening, as they prepared for their barn sleepover, Jacob whispered to Star, Tomorrow, you're going to eat. I promise. Because brave friends help each other. Star nuzzled his hand. As if sealing their pact. As if promising to try. The real test was just beginning. The barn felt different at night. Shadows danced on the walls from Grandma Sarah's lantern. The sounds were softer. More mysterious. Jacob lay on his small cot, watching Star in the dim light. She stood in her corner again. Scared of the darkness. Scared of the strange noises. Her breathing was fast and shallow. She hadn't eaten anything all day. It's okay, Star, Jacob whispered into the quiet barn. I'm here. You're not alone. Grandma Sarah sat in a chair nearby. She had brought her knitting. But her needles weren't moving. She was watching Jacob. Listening to his voice. Her heart full of wonder and worry. The hours passed slowly. Jacob told Star stories. About dragons and knights. About brave animals who saved the day. His voice grew stronger with each tale. Around midnight, Star finally lay down. But she kept her eyes open. Watching Jacob. Making sure he was still there. I know you're scared, Jacob said softly. I was scared too. For a really long time. He sat up on his cot. His small silhouette looked even smaller in the big barn. Want to know a secret, Star? I still get scared sometimes. Especially at night. Star's ears perked up. She was listening. But Grandma taught me something special, Jacob continued. She said fear is just love trying to keep us safe. And love is the strongest thing in the whole world. Sarah's knitting needles stopped completely. Those were her exact words. From months ago. Before Jacob stopped talking. She thought he hadn't heard them. So when I'm scared, Jacob said, I think about love. About people who care about me. Like Grandma. Like Mommy. Like you. Something shifted in Star's eyes. A softness Jacob hadn't seen before. And you know what else? Jacob whispered. Sometimes being brave doesn't mean not being scared. Sometimes being brave means being scared, but doing the right thing anyway. He slipped off his cot quietly. Grandma Sarah tensed, ready to stop him. But something in Jacob's movements made her wait. Jacob walked slowly to Star's stall. The calf watched him approach. No trembling this time. No backing away. I'm going to tell you something, Star, Jacob said as he sat cross-legged outside her gate. Something I never told anyone. Not even Grandma. The barn grew impossibly quiet. Even the other animals seemed to listen. The day of the accident, Jacob began, his voice barely audible. I was crying because I was hungry. I wanted a cookie. Mommy said no. So I cried louder and louder. Tears started rolling down his cheeks. Mommy turned around to give me a cookie. To make me stop crying. That's when the truck hit us. Sarah's hand flew to her mouth. She had wondered. But never asked? Never pushed. I thought. Jacob's voice cracked. I thought if I never asked for anything again. If I never talked again. Maybe bad things wouldn't happen to people I love. Star stood up slowly. She walked to the gate. Pressed her face against the wooden rails. As close to Jacob as she could get. But that's not how love works, is it? Jacob asked, looking into Star's dark eyes. Love means caring about someone even when it's scary. Even when it might hurt. He reached through the rails. Star didn't pull away. His small hand touched her soft muzzle. I love you, Star, Jacob said clearly. And I'm not going to stop talking anymore. Because you need me to be brave. And I need you to be brave too. Star made a soft sound. The gentlest moo. Like she was trying to say, I love you too. Will you try to eat? Jacob asked. For me? I know you're scared. But I'll be right here. I promise. Farmer Bill appeared at the barn door. He'd been checking on them every hour. In his hands was Star's bottle. Warm milk. Life-giving nutrition. Perfect timing, Jacob said, looking up at Bill. His voice was stronger now. Clear. Star's ready to try again. Aren't you, girl? Bill approached slowly. He held out the bottle. Star looked at it. Then at Jacob. Then back at the bottle. It's okay, Jacob encouraged. I'm right here. You're safe. Star took a tentative step toward the bottle. Then stopped. Fear flickered in her eyes. Jacob made a decision that surprised everyone. He stood up. Opened the stall gate. Walked inside. Sat down right next to Star. Jacob, Grandma Sarah started to say. It's okay, Grandma, Jacob said confidently. We trust each other now. He was right. Star didn't move away. Instead, she lowered her head. Rested it gently against Jacob's shoulder. See? Jacob said to the bottle. She just needed a friend. Bill extended the bottle again. This time, Star sniffed it. Her pink tongue darted out. Tasted the nipple. the warm milk. And then, miracle of miracles, she began to drink. "Oh my!" Grandma Sarah whispered. "Oh my goodness!" Star drank slowly at first. Then faster. Her tail wagged slightly. She was hungry. So hungry. But now she felt safe enough to eat. Jacob stayed perfectly still. His small body providing comfort and security. His presence saying, "You're not alone. You're loved." When Star finished the entire bottle, she looked up at Bill with milk on her whiskers. As if to say, "More, please?" Bill laughed. His first real laugh in days. "Well, I'll be. She's got her appetite back." Jacob wrapped his arms gently around Star's neck. She leaned into the hug. Two scared souls who had found courage in each other. "I told you," Jacob said to Star. "Being brave together is easier than being scared alone." As Bill went to prepare another bottle, Grandma Sarah knelt beside Jacob and Star. Tears of joy streamed down her weathered cheeks. "How did you know?" she asked her grandson. "How did you know what she needed?" Jacob looked up at her with wise eyes. Eyes that had seen too much sadness, but were now filled with hope. "Because she needed the same thing I needed," he said simply. "Someone to sit with her in the dark. Someone to not give up. Someone to love her even when she was too scared to love herself." Star nuzzled both of them, her fears melting away with each passing moment. She had found her family, her safe place, her home. When Bill returned with the second bottle, Star drank it eagerly. Then a third. Making up for lost time. Making up for lost meals. "I think she's going to be just fine," Bill said with a huge grin. "More than fine. She's going to be extraordinary." Jacob smiled. The biggest, brightest smile anyone had seen from him in 2 years. "We both are," he said confidently. "We're going to be extraordinary together." As the night continued, Star curled up next to Jacob's cot. Close enough to touch. Close enough to feel safe. For the first time since being born, she slept peacefully. Jacob lay awake for a while longer, watching his new best friend, feeling words and feelings rushing back into his heart, ready to embrace the world again. "Thank you, Star," he whispered into the darkness. "Thank you for helping me find my voice." And from the stall came the softest sound. A contented sigh. A sound that meant, "Thank you for helping me find my courage." The boy and the calf had saved each other. And tomorrow, their real adventures would begin. 3 months later, Jacob Henderson was a completely different boy. He chattered constantly, asked a million questions, sang songs while doing chores. His voice filled Meadowbrook Farm with joy and laughter. And Star? Star had grown into the most beautiful young cow in 3 counties. Her black coat gleamed in the sunshine. Her white star marking had grown larger as she grew. But most importantly, she was fearless. "Jacob! Come see this!" Farmer Bill called from the pasture one sunny August morning. Jacob dropped his toy trucks and ran outside. What he saw made his heart soar with pride. Star was leading the entire herd of cows across the field. The older, bigger cows followed her. A 3-month-old calf had become their leader. "How did that happen?" Jacob asked, grinning from ear to ear. "Courage is contagious," Bill explained. "When other animals see someone being brave, they want to be brave too." Jacob nodded wisely. He understood that feeling. Star had taught him the same thing. Every morning, Jacob visited Star in the pasture. She would see him coming and run across the field, her hooves pounding the earth, her joyful moos echoing across the farm. "Morning, beautiful girl!" Jacob would call out. Star would slide to a stop right in front of him. Sometimes she knocked him over with her enthusiasm. They would tumble in the grass together, laughing and playing like old friends. But the most amazing thing was what happened next. Other children started visiting the farm. Word had spread about the boy who talked to animals. About the calf who saved a child's voice. Shy children. Scared children. Children who felt different. They all came to meet Jacob and Star. "This is Emma," Grandma Sarah said one afternoon, introducing a quiet little girl. "She's 5 years old. And she's a bit nervous about meeting new people." Emma hid behind her mother's legs. Her big blue eyes peeked out at Jacob. She hadn't spoken to anyone outside her family in months. "Hi, Emma," Jacob said gently. "Want to meet my best friend?" She used to be scared too. Emma nodded shyly. Jacob led her to the pasture fence. Star was grazing nearby. When she saw Jacob, she trotted over immediately. "This is Star," Jacob said. "She was afraid of everyone when she was born. But look at her now." Star approached the fence carefully. She sensed Emma's nervousness. Instinctively, she moved slowly. Gently. "She's beautiful," Emma whispered. Her first words to a stranger in 6 months. "She likes you," Jacob said. "See how her ears are forward. That means she's happy." Emma reached out tentatively. Star lowered her head. Let the little girl touch her soft muzzle. "She's so warm," Emma said, her voice getting stronger. "Want to know a secret?" Jacob asked. "When I first met Star, I hadn't talked to anyone in 2 years. She helped me find my voice." Emma looked at Jacob with wonder. "Really?" "Really," Jacob confirmed. "Sometimes we need a special friend to help us be brave." By the end of the visit, Emma was talking nonstop. About her favorite colors. Her pet hamster. Her dreams of becoming a veterinarian. Star had worked her magic again. This happened again and again. Children who came to the farm scared and silent left chattering and confident. Star seemed to understand each child's needs. She was gentle with the shy ones. Playful with the sad ones. Patient with the angry ones. Jacob became Star's translator. Her voice. Her helper in healing other hearts. "You're both natural therapists," Dr. Martinez, the local children's counselor, told them one day. She had started bringing her young patients to the farm. "You have a gift." Jacob beamed with pride. But he knew the truth. It wasn't really a gift. It was something much simpler. Much more powerful. It was love. One evening in late September, Jacob sat in Star's pasture watching the sunset. Star lay beside him, chewing her cud contentedly. The sky was painted orange and pink. The air was crisp with autumn's arrival. "Remember when we first met?" Jacob asked Star. "We were both so scared." Star turned her head toward him. Her dark eyes were peaceful now. Confident. Full of trust. "I'm not scared anymore," Jacob continued. "Are you?" Star made a soft sound. A gentle moo that sounded like contentment. Like happiness. Like home. "I love you, Star," Jacob said, wrapping his arms around her neck. "Thank you for teaching me that being different isn't bad. It just means you have something special to share with the world." Star nuzzled his cheek. Her way of saying, "I love you too." Grandma Sarah watched from the porch. Her heart full of gratitude. Jacob's parents had visited the week before. They were amazed by their son's transformation. The quiet, withdrawn boy had become confident and caring. A natural leader. "We owe it all to that calf," Jacob's mother had said, tears in her eyes. "Star saved our son." But Sarah knew better. Jacob and Star had saved each other. Two scared souls who found courage in friendship. Love in understanding. Hope in each other. As the months turned to years, Jacob grew taller. Star grew bigger. But their bond never changed. Every morning, boy and cow would greet each other with joy. Every evening, they would share the sunset together. Jacob became the youngest volunteer at the county animal shelter. He had a special gift for helping scared animals. And scared children. His gentle voice and patient heart could calm anyone. Star became a registered therapy animal. The first cow in Wisconsin history to earn that title. She visited hospitals, schools, and nursing homes, spreading comfort wherever she went. But they were happiest together on the farm, teaching other children that courage comes in many forms, that friendship can heal any wound, that love really is the strongest force in the world. On Jacob's 8th birthday, Farmer Bill gave him a special present, a small brass nameplate for Star's stall. It read, "Star Henderson Therapy Cow and Best Friend." "Henderson?" Jacob asked, his eyes wide with surprise. "She's part of the family now." Bill smiled. "Has been since that first night in the barn." Jacob hugged Star tight. "Did you hear that, girl? You're officially my sister now." Star's happy moo echoed across the farm. A sound of pure joy. A sound that said, "I've always been family. You just made it official." Years later, when Jacob became a veterinarian, people would ask him about his inspiration, about what made him choose a life helping animals. He would always smile and tell them about a scared little calf named Star, about a night in a barn when two frightened hearts found each other, about learning that the bravest thing you can do is love someone else more than you fear getting hurt. And somewhere on Meadowbrook Farm, a beautiful black cow with a white star on her forehead would lift her head from grazing, as if she could hear her boy telling their story, as if she remembered that magical night when everything changed. The boy who stopped speaking had found his voice. The calf who was too scared to eat had found her courage. And together, they had found something even more precious. They had found forever. The end.